I rise as a fan of the New York Mets to echo the comments of my colleagues previously about Dick Allen. First, let's be clear, baseball is the greatest game ever invented. And it is a game that in many ways has reflected the history of the United States. A game that was initially segregated and then famously with Jackie Robinson in 1947 integrated, but not without incident, as we've heard today with the reading of the resolution in honor of Dick Allen in his own time playing in the major leagues in the 60s and 70s, to have endured what he endured. And nonetheless, to have been such a great player and to have amassed the statistics that he did, and baseball is, like so much of the rest of sports, a statistics-driven sport. Dick Allen's lifetime accomplishments will live on long past the time that we are all here to acknowledge them. But I want to say a word, too, about his contribution as an African-American in the game. You know, nearly 60 years after he broke in, and now 74 years after Jackie Robinson did in 1947. And you think about the experiences they both had. Jackie, of course, most famously because he was the first, being at Ebbets Field when actually, ironically, the Phillies were in town, and Ben Chapman, who at the time was a manager of the Phillies and someone who had quite a reputation for making racist comments, during a game, the first game, taunted Jackie Robinson with the words, "Go back to the cotton fields." And it was only the next day when Eddie Stanky, who was an infielder for the Dodgers and a Philadelphia native, I might add, stood up for Jackie Robinson, that a lot of the white fans started to see exactly what was going on, and it opened a lot of eyes. And that indeed helped bring the doors open the doors for other African-American players like Dick Allen, just about 15 years later. But I note all that because, ironically, despite the contributions of men like Dick Allen, in Major League Baseball today, there are fewer and fewer African-American players. And I hope that Major League Baseball does something about that, because accessing the game of baseball is not easy, and it can be an expensive proposition for a lot of kids. And I applaud, among others, Dom Smith of the Mets, who has very eloquently spoken out about racism in America today, but also is very involved in bringing baseball to the inner city and other places where he is trying to encourage young African-American boys to get involved in the sport. And I hope that's a legacy when they do, that they'll look back on trailblazers like Dick Allen, and I'm sure they will, and that too will be part of his legacy and something that his family, I'm sure, will be very proud of in the years to come. Thank you, Mr. President.